Good morning, Thailand. My name is Alex.
And I'm Jay.
And we have some news updates for you from around Thailand today, this Tuesday, January 7th. But before we begin, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. It helps us out a lot.
It does.
Now, today, we will be talking about a Chinese actor who mysteriously disappeared near the Thai-Myanmar border. Some racist remarks by former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra sparking some backlash. And a little later, a record-setting Blue-fin Tuna out of the Tokyo fish market.
Oh.
But first, we're back in Thailand where we have another elephant-related story, unfortunately, as parents and children barely escaped an elephant's panic during a supposed ritual here in the Land of Smiles. Now, a cultural ritual involving children passing under an elephant's belly for good fortune nearly turned tragic when the animal panicked, as seen in a viral CCTV video shared on Facebook. The elephant kicked its handler, carrying a child, narrowly avoiding a fatal incident. The post, dated January 6, highlighted the dangers of such practices, urging caution while respecting beliefs. Social media reactions strongly criticized the risks, emphasizing safety over tradition. Fortunately, the handler calmed the elephant in time, preventing any injuries.
That was a difficult video to watch. That could have gone wrong in so many ways.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I mean, this is coming on the heels, too, of that Spanish tourist who unfortunately lost her life in close proximity with an elephant as well. And this was just like, I don't get it, man. Like, doing this stuff for ritual and things like that, historical, there's a reason why we stopped a lot of the practices that we've done with animals all over the world is because they were cruel, inhumane, right? This is like, it's reminiscent of like the orcas killing their trainers over at SeaWorld and things like that. And the fact that, hey, but we've always done it. It's like a tradition thing. Okay, well, they've always probably been, killing a lot of the people that when they've been fed up, too. So fortunately, in this case, pretty much everyone unharmed, but psychological trauma for sure.
Thankfully, the elephant taker kind of was with the baby. I'm so happy that they didn't let the baby the child kind of go by themselves. Because they've probably done, you're right, they've probably done it like hundreds of times, and they're like, oh, this is normal. This happens a lot, and then all it takes is one moment for a horrific accident.
And especially with it already being in the news, you'd think people would be a little bit more careful with their children of all things. And again, what is the good luck of going under an elephant, man?
And then is it an accident if it does happen? Because then it's still a majestic beast.
Yeah. I don't know what happens with the elephants after they have a little bit of a panic as well. But in any case, we need to start treating them better and be careful if you're a tourist too, and make sure if you're going to one of these sanctuaries or something like that it is legitimate and you're really not supposed to get close to them. You're not supposed to be bathing them. Definitely not supposed to be riding them. So be careful when you engage in that culture.
Yeah. Well, for now, we're going to move on to our next topic, going over to Phuket, where a drunken tourist attacks Phuket bikers over a massage rider refusal. Another day in Phuket, another bad foreigner. A drunken tourist in Phuket attacked 3 motorcycle taxi riders after they refused to give him a ride to a massage parlor, citing that they were fully booked. Now, video footage showed the foreigner shouting and assaulting the riders, injuring one by strangling and hitting the others during the altercation. The man eventually left the scene, and the riders reported the incident to the Karan police station. The tourist was fined only 500 baht and paid 5,000 baht in compensation, which the victims deemed insufficient. Many netizens criticized perceived leniency towards foreigners, with claims of bias from local police, because he's surely going to spend more than 5,000 in that massage parlor. Drug use rather than alcohol was suspected.
Excuse me. Sorry, I'm allergic to drunk foreigners. This was pretty shocking footage. What is with people, man? Like, I don't get it. Like,
he's got to go to his massage parlor, bro.
It's insane.
He can't handle his emotions.
Yeah, like somebody could have used a little bit of relaxation, apparently. But yeah, I can understand the bikers' frustration at the lack of or perceived lack of enforcement of rules. Like paying only a 500 baht fine, 5,000 baht in compensation. Doesn't seem like a lot, particularly for someone coming from a Western country where it's kind of a little bit of chump change for such bad behavior.
They're also saying suspected drug use, so I'm assuming that they saw him and they didn't like his vibe and they're like, we don't want to take you.
Yeah.
Or it could be that, Because motorbike taxis, there's no standard fee. They're like, yeah, we don't want to go there for such little.
Yeah, it's fair enough, but at the end of the day, it's their right to refuse, especially if you're acting erratic. And then if you're attacking them, well, boy, they were probably they probably caught the right vibe.
Yeah.
Didn't want to deal with you. So, anyways, I'm just glad to see that there's some punishment, but it kind of sucks though, because this is what the locals always talk about. If we don't enforce the rules and really give more than a slap on the wrist, it's going to continue to encourage this kind of bad behavior, which seems to happen all too often in places like Phuket. So, anyways, we'll see if anything changes. Got it. Cool. Now, moving on to our next story. Well, I want to get into the comments for a little bit of these, but keep a reading. But this next story is pretty wild. So we have a disappearing act. Now, a Chinese actor named Wang Xing, or known as his screen name Xing Xing, disappeared after being lured to Thailand under the pretense of filming a movie, raising fears of human trafficking. Now, Xing Xing traveled from Shanghai to the Thai-Myanmar border town of Mae Sot, an area infamous for illegal activities, after responding to a casting call on WeChat. Communication with his girlfriend, Jia Jia, ceased shortly after his arrival. She has since sought help from Chinese anti-authorities, including the Chinese embassy and consulate in Thailand. As investigations continue, the case underscores the dangers of digital scams targeting vulnerable individuals in creative industries. This is scary stuff, man.
Yeah.
It happens a lot. It's happening especially a lot with bad actors from China. There's all sorts of gangsters and organized crime thing where it's like actually Chinese operators running their operations outside of other Southeast Asian countries so that they can't be caught, right?
Yeah.
They're coercing other people into running the scams for them, and then if they get caught, well, they're insulated because they're back in China or they're back somewhere else. And in this case, they're targeting tons of Chinese tourists who do appear, I will say, a little bit more gullible.
Yeah.
I don't want to victim blame here, but it does appear it happens a lot. There are like these weird fake kidnapping scams and things like that happen a lot in
He
Thailand.
seems like an up and coming actor as well. Like I mean, with the pictures and videos, like he's got a little bit of a reel. So there's a little bit of confusion. Up and coming actor. How do they think they can get away with him going missing? B, he's up and coming, at least, well, like I'm guessing, in a way known, and his girlfriend's obviously kind of, trying to get media attention to it. Imagine how many people who are not well known disappear. And 3, Thailand probably wants to get on top of this because Thailand, one of the 5 Fs of Thailand is filming, and they promote filming and production in Thailand as kind of like a business opportunity for people. So China is probably a really big market, and if Chinese actors are like, "Yeah, I'm not going to go to Thailand,"
that is
for filming, that's bad for the country.
No, that's Elliot posting that right now. Is that missing Chinese actor news is going to have a huge impact on visitor numbers from China? Absolutely will, because this is huge news in China. And like you said, how can they get away with this guy missing? I think it puts a target on his back actually, because they think he might have some money behind him, and there could be a good ransom situation in that situation. But as of now, there's still no demands or anything like that. So we'll have to wait and see how this story develops, because it will have a huge impact on those bilateral relationships.
Yeah.
All right. Yes.
All right. We're going to move on to our next story, which is looking into a little bit of politics, I guess. Thaksin's racist remarks ignite controversy in Thailand. Is the former Thai Prime Minister a racist? Thaksin Shinawatra is facing backlash over remarks made during an election campaign in Chiang Rai, where he controversially compared African women's features to Thai women, suggesting the former earned substantial incomes despite bad features. The comments, deemed racist by many, sparked widespread condemnation, including from Senator Angkana Nila Paichit, who urged Thaksin to apologize for violating human rights principles. The controversy has not only tarnished Thaksin's reputation, but also risks undermining the electoral prospects of the Pheu Thai-backed candidate he supported. Now, the incident reignites scrutiny of Thaksin's lingering influence in Thai politics. Is he just an old sick man, or is he outright just racist? I mean,
yeah, this is he's an old school guy, and I'm definitely not making excuses for him. This is pretty disgusting remarks, that's for sure. To just say like, what? Our Thai women are much more beautiful, and look at all that money that they're making over there. It's like, dude, what are you talking about? This is like the land of beauty contests, by the way. Thailand does so many different beauty contests, so. One of the most amazing aspects of things like Miss Universe is the internationality of it, and that beauty can come in so many different forms.
Yeah.
Pretty gross.
Part of the opinions are divided depending on how you kind of look at it. You're allowed to have an opinion and have a feeling of bias, but as a prominent former, allegedly corrupt prime minister who was in exile but came back, you're not allowed to actually voice that to people.
Yeah, this doesn't seem like anything that any old man should be talking about in the public sphere. That makes like commenting on the beauty of races is like.
This is actually very common in Thailand. I'm not gonna lie, it's very common in Thailand. I have a lot of Thai uncles. I love them, but a lot of the older generation are a lot more vocal in their remarks, and that's why and even some of my friends who are a little bit younger, like Thai people end up being racist by not actually being racist, as in. They don't mean to be racist, and they might not understand that that's racist, but in terms of their thinking or maybe some jokes, it's kind of like, acceptable. It's only now that like maybe a much younger generation, like some of our team members, like when they're in their 20s, I think they're a bit more educated in terms of like what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. But Thailand in general is not by meaning to be racist. Does that make sense?
No, that makes no sense. Like, sorry. Like, no. This is why you got to call out racism when you see it. And this is why we do stories like this, is to be like, all right. I mean, there's already big online backlash of this kind of thing. And it's like, dude, not cool. And hopefully there's a correction of behavior, even issuing an apology, right? I'm not a big fan of cancel culture in general, but there are consequences to the statements that you make, especially for somebody who is still wielding such significant political influence. When they say things like this, people listen, and it can have a lot of harm and detriment. So I do think it's important to call it out. Jay, call out your racist uncles, okay? That's my advice to you.
I think one comment sums up almost everything about the entire story. Guns and Explosives says, I don't know why he's even allowed on stage, or why is he even giving speeches. I think that's probably the start and end of that.
Money, baby. You know the answer to that. That's already there.
Anyways.
Moving on to the next story. Apparently, Thaksin, he's not going to be too happy with this one, as Thailand is expanding its e-visa program to 9 African nations.
That's a good segue. That was a good segue.
I intentionally planned this. Now, Thailand has launched an e-visa program for 9 African nations as of January 1st, aiming to boost tourism by simplifying the application process. Suck on that, Thaksin. This digital system replaces physical applications and ensures faster processing, typically within 5 working days. The approved countries include Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon, and Chad, among others. Applicants must submit proof of residence, travel plans, and return flight details online via the Royal Thai Embassy's websites. The initiative builds on Thailand's growing ties with Africa through policies like the Thai-Africa Initiative, encouraging tourism beyond major hubs like Bangkok and Phuket. Cool. Right. I mean, this is one of those things where Thailand has plenty of bilateral relations all over the world. It's one of the most diplomatically open places in the world, making it easier for these countries, typically wealthier African countries too, that are going to be coming here and spending a lot of money. So, anyways, good news if you're coming from any of those countries.
I'm excited to watch that moment when you meet the current Thai Prime Minister once again.
Yeah. She won't take my...
AKA the daughter of former
Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra. What do you want from me?
You met her like last month.
I did.
I'm looking forward to when you meet her after the story comes out. I was supposed to get an interview,
and then I was supposed to get invited to dinner. I got uninvited to that.
Whoa.
So,
How dare they?
I look, she's gaining a reputation now. I don't know if you know this, that they're calling her in the Thai media. What are they calling her? script girl or something like that.
Scripted.
It's relatively
She's got
translates.
a PR team, all right? She's got a PR team. Probably smart.
She doesn't accept any interviews. No, I have a friend who is doing interviews with former Prime Minister Sreta, asking him very tough questions, and Sreta's in there.
What friend?
His name is Matt.
Oh, Matt, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know Matt? Yeah.
I don't know him, but I know his work.
Oh,
is he a friend?
Yeah, he's a friend.
Cool.
But yeah, he pulls no punches when he's doing those kinds of interviews, and I think that's probably what has the.
I like some of his content. He goes for it.
He really does, and it's probably why the current prime minister sees stuff like that and doesn't want to be dealing with it. But it's like, dude, you're the leader. You got to deal with interviews.
I actually enjoyed watching that interview with Sreta, and genuinely impressed by how well Sreta answered it as well. I mean, like, he is a politician and an extremely successful business person, but he actually. When you actually meet someone who, in Thailand especially, who can answer to that level, it's like, he could have been a great prime minister.
Yeah, I agree. Like, but
well.
we got the Shinawats in power again. Anyways,
moving on. Bangkok struggles with hazardous air quality from PM2.5 pollution. It's a tourism high season in Thailand, but Bangkok and 66 Thai provinces are grappling with hazardous air quality as PM2.5 levels surged to unsafe highs on Monday. Singburi recorded the worst pollution at 85.6, far exceeding the government's safe limit of 37.5. In Bangkok, all 50 districts reported unsafe levels, with Bangkok Yai reaching a staggering 102.3 UG meter micrograms. Authorities are under pressure to address the worsening air pollution, emphasizing the need for sustainable measures to safeguard public health. Have you noticed the weather deteriorating?
a little bit. It's also on the plus side. It's gotten cooler.
Yeah, it's a bit cooler,
nice, yeah.
but it's full of pollutants.
Yeah, it is.
So
Yeah, it's
there's no winning. There's no winning, Alex.
I know. Kind of sucks. It is that time of the year where they do all the crop burnings and things like that up in
Is
the
it?
north, isn't it?
No, not yet.
Isn't it?
No.
Oh,
In a couple of months. Don't worry, we got
couple
time
months?
for that.
Oh, okay. Well, then I don't have any excuses for what's going on right now.
It's supposed to be nice. It's high season.
yeah.
People are going to holiday in the north.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. But yeah, it is. It is kind of.
It's the most
I don't know.
wonderful time.
See, for me, I used to live in China, and it was so much worse. Like, so China was way worse than it's
Sure.
ever been in Bangkok. So I guess I'm just sort of conditioned by, stepping outside and feel like I'm smoking a pack of cigarettes. So it never seems that bad to me, but it's still like, just because there are children starving in the world doesn't mean we can't say we're hungry. That
Yeah.
kind of metaphor. And so, yeah, it is not great, and it could be better. But yeah, anyways, we'll see. Maybe it'll get cleaned up soon. All right, well, that'll do it for our Thailand section of the news. We are now on to the ASEAN section of the news, where our first stop is Malaysia.
Okay.
Now, Malaysia's ex-prime minister Najib has won an appeal to not serve time in jail, but rather do it in house detention. All right, so Malaysia's jailed ex-prime minister Najib Razak scored a legal victory as a court ruled his request to access a royal document for house detention should be reconsidered. Najib, serving a reduced sentence for his role in the 1MDB corruption scandal, claims a royal order has also granted him house arrest, which authorities deny receiving. During the appeal, a letter confirming the order's existence was revealed, sparking renewed controversy. Supporters rallied outside the court, while officials, including the Home Minister, insist no formal communication about house detention was ever received. The decision revives debates over Najib's legal battles and political influence. What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
It does seem like, I don't know, it did. A lot of he said, she said going on over there, but I don't blame him for wanting to spend time under house arrest rather than actually doing time in a prison. At the same time, he has been embroiled in this insane scandal with the embezzling of billions of dollars worth of stuff.
I feel like former alleged corrupt politicians need to spend some time with Thaksin. He avoided prison altogether. He was
Yeah.
sick. He was sick, Alex. How dare you make such allegations?
Well, one of the things about Thaksin was, did he actually do anything bad? Like, the allegations against him seemed to have been drummed up in order to force him out of power.
Yeah, he was
more than
actually
anything else.
in self-exile. Note.
Yeah, well, because he didn't want to go to jail. I think that
Allegedly.
was-
Allegedly, Alex.
Allegedly. But
Allegedly.
yeah, at the end of the day, that one seemed more politically motivated than what's going on here with this 1MDB scandal, where these were people that were in positions Departments of Power when tons of money was embezzled, and he was connected to it. So he's not denying his guilt. He's trying to just alter the punishment, so to speak. So, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen over there, but we're going to keep our eyes on it because it does seem that nobody knows what's going on. He's got supporters, he has detractors, and the people in power want to keep him in jail, but we'll see how that goes. Anyways.
All right. Moving on, we're now going to talk a little bit about Vietnam as its GDP growth hits 7% in 2024, boosted by exports. Great time to invest in Vietnam's economy as it's grown by 7% in 2024, reaching $476.3 billion, up from 5% in 23, driven by strong exports and foreign investment. Exports rose 14.3% to $405 billion, with electronics, clothing, and farm produce leading the way. A trade surplus of $24 billion and increased coal imports helped boost industrial output and avoid electricity shortages. Foreign investment inflows grew 9.4% to $25 billion, while consumer prices rose by 3.60%. However, challenges remain in Bangkok real estate and slower services exports. No one wants to buy property in Vietnam at the moment, I see.
Well, it's very difficult to buy property in Vietnam, actually. Vietnam is becoming a hub. It's sort of like a lot of people see it as like the new China, where China was at the turn of the century was seen as like the place to set up your manufacturing, find cheaper labor sources. And since a lot of people have soured on China, many of these businesses and industries have shifted to Vietnam, and that is very apparent in its rapid GDP growth, 7%. Them's China numbers, you know what I mean, from back in the day. So that's a pretty insane rate of growth. But still, Vietnam very much grappling with other problems like internal corruption, and inflation is still an issue for them too. But overall, it does seem that they're on the right track in terms of improving the lives and bringing people out of poverty. So good news for Vietnam. We'll see if they can keep it up for 2025. All right, well, on to our next story, where we are off to Indonesia, where they have launched a free meal program for millions of people.
All right.
Yay. Indonesia's free meal program, launched by President Prabowo Subianto, began on Monday, targeting 83 million people by 2029. On the first day, 570,000 meals were served to school children and pregnant women across 20 provinces. The initiative, costing about $4.39 billion this year, aims to combat child malnutrition and boost economic growth. While controversial due to its $28 billion price tag over 5 years, it has received support for easing daily burdens on families. By March, the program will reach 3 million people, with gradual expansion throughout the year, including milk distribution. Good news to me. I just feel like this is absolutely one of the things that needs to be spent money on. Like, I feel like whatever the price tag is, it can't be too high to say like, oh, that's too expensive. We can't afford to feed our children. Does that make sense? Like, whatever that price tag is, whatever you're spending the money is on other things, how can you morally justify it if you have children that are going hungry? So I think it's good on Indonesia to expand this program and to be able to put a lot of food in the mouths of needy children and make sure that they are growing up big and strong. And by the way, this also contributes to the economy because, you know, they're spending money on this. So that means that people are producing the food. It's creating more jobs on that end too. So I think it's a win-win all around, and just happy news. Congratulations, Indonesia.
All right. Well, we're going to move on to our last story today, where we're going to be talking about a motorcycle-sized tuna has been sold for $1.3 million at Tokyo auction. This is another fishy situation. A 608-pound bluefin tuna was sold for $1.3 million at Tokyo's Toyosu Fish Market during its annual New Year auction, marking the second highest price on record since 1999. The Michelin-starred sushi Onodera Group secured the prized fish, continuing its streak of top bids for 5 consecutive years. The tuna caught off Oma's coast in Aomori was celebrated as a symbol of good luck and culinary excellence. While the auction showcases tradition and prestige, concerns remain over bluefin tuna's endangered status due to overfishing and illegal fishing practices.
Yeah.
Is Japan still doing that killing all the dolphins thing?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there's still issues there, but this is another one of those issues. The Blue-fin Tunas are being overfished, but that's why they're fetching such high prices. $1.3 million for a fish.
But that's
My
a big
goodness.
boy.
It is indeed.
That's a motorbike size tuna.
Over 600
When a fish
pounds.
is as big as a motorbike, that's when you need to be concerned.
Yeah, or excited, as these
Or
guys
excited.
are. Yeah, I've actually been to the Tokyo Fish Market. It's a wonderful experience. It's the best sushi I've ever had in my entire life. And
At the fish market.
At the fish market itself, yeah.
Do they what? What do you mean? They have like people just cutting up stuff and.
So there's little restaurants nearby that just like they buy little pieces. They auction there as well. Oh, sorry, sneezing.
Is everything auctioned? Can't they just
Yeah,
sell
it's
it?
usually auctioned most of the time. So you go. I miss the auctions because they happen at like 4 a.m. They happen super
wow.
early.
Okay.
But then you can get like the freshest sushi of your life at these little hole-in-the-wall izakaya-looking places. Amazing, absolutely amazing stuff. But yeah, it's an interesting cultural experience. If you find yourself in Tokyo, I highly recommend heading to the fish market. Yeah, hopefully it's not too problematic because apparently some of these fish are overfished. We need to keep our eyes out.
Okay. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Those are some of the stories from across Thailand and ASEAN. You can find more stories on Thaiger.com or visit
ASEANnow.com
to get into the conversation on Thailand's largest English news forum. Yeah. For now, we're
get
going
into
to
the
dive into
comments?
comments. Yeah, let's just see some of the comments.
All right.